All right. Good evening. Texas today. Um, we went out to a farmer's market and then to for lunch together. Kelly and I. Greg let us borrow his car. Uh, he got a lot done today on his bus. He went and pulled his exhaust out, hole in his muffler, which we knew that was there. Hey, Brandon, David. I'll try to give these comments here real quick. Yeah, hi guys. Appreciate you tuning in and subscribing. That's awesome. Make sure if you're going to post any questions, make sure you do it in all caps. That way, it's really easier for us to to identify them. Man, I'm tired. No, we didn't miss the storms. It stormed here last night.
The biggest part missed us.
Yeah, it was. It's definitely rained hard though, and it was really windy. It was windy most of the day today too. So, anyways, yeah, he got the exhaust pulled off of there, and he's starting to put it on new muffler, resonator, and he's flipping it over the other way, so it comes out the other side. Should help to remove some of the heat from the radiator area as well. He hasn't started it up yet though. So tomorrow I am going to. I'll still be in Houston area, so we're in the Houston area now, but tomorrow I'll actually be in Houston. Over on the west side, and we're going to start working on an Eagle bus. It's having some fuel issues and a couple of other things that we're going to address, so that should be pretty fun. It's not going to be a huge job, 1 or 2 days probably, most likely, and then from there we're going to be going to McFadden, Texas. And then after McFadden, I think we're going to Austin. And then I'll update you on where we're going to be after that, up in the Dallas area-ish, I believe.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We have two different areas.
Well, one of them depends on where the bus is going to be. It could be in Dallas or it could be somewhere else in that general area. I had one of my guys in Dallas back out, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, this job here, I expected it to be here, a week and a half, 2 weeks or so, and I did it in a day and a half. So it's moving up things on the schedule, and I got to try to balance that around other people's schedules. So who knows exactly what's going to happen? We don't know. It's try to plan it all out as best as possible. Usually I run really late. Things take a lot longer to get fixed. Too many hey Lance moments. But this one didn't go that way. So obviously wasn't running very well when we got here, but that bus is running really, really good right now. And I have a lot of confidence in that engine. And he's going to send that blower out to have it rebuilt. And then I think he's going to have a really, really good engine on there. Okay. My batteries, somebody's asking if I got that sorted out. Well, other than I have them disconnected, those 6-volt golf cart batteries, I've had them on the load tester before, and I would get really high amps out of them. So what I'm getting right now is terrible amps, and then the voltage drops down ridiculous. Even though there was a discrepancy in my voltage, that Harbor Freight load tester I was using, when we confirmed it with a digital meter, it was still dropping below 10 volts when we would put any kind of load on it, and we can't have that. My other battery bank, I took each individual battery on that bank as well, and load tested them, and it never dropped below 12 volts with a huge heavy load on them. So it's something with those golf cart batteries that just whatever they didn't like what happened to them there. And I've had them in there for about 3 years, I think. I did have one issue with them before, and we just ran a battery desulfator on them. And then they came right back with that. So we'll see. But for right now, they're disconnected. I don't know what the 2-volt thing was, what that was all about. I have no idea still. I wasn't able to replicate that or duplicate that. None of my terminals were loose. None of them were corroded. All the batteries were full. Every single battery passed the hydrometer test. So all these crazy theories or battery people that jump in, no, you can't do this, can't do that. This is what the problem is. That was the problem. None of that was what it was. When we did test it, one of the wires, the guy had it, one of my helpers put it on by finger and it wasn't tight. But once we tightened it, then it was fine and the test would have been accurate. It still was failing. So who knows? somebody from Russia. I watch your videos, but I don't understand your language. Um, I get a lot of comments in Russian too. I just leave them. Some of them might be really bad. Who knows? But thank you for watching. Um, all right, questions. Let's see where we're at here. Maybe I don't know if I have any more to cover. Yeah, so my batteries, I'm just going to try to get it where we can get through this trip and then figure out what we got to do. My ultimate goal is to get lithium batteries. If I can save 1,000 pounds of weight on the bus, which I can, by doing that, it'll be worth it for me. So hopefully I can work out a deal with a battery company and maybe get some kind of a discount or something for promoting their product. But we'll see if that happens or not. I mean, we're only almost 80,000 subscribers, so I don't know if that's gonna cut it for them yet. So we'll see. Somebody already misbehaving, Kelly?
Yeah, someone telling me to shut up.
What?
Well, telling you to tell me to shut up.
Did you actually say something? Oh, did you just block them from the channel?
Oh, they're kicked out.
Oh, well, like blocked totally?
Yeah, I wanted to say F you first,
Okay.
but I didn't want to
Thank
give
you.
them the time.
Yeah. Goodbye. All right. So, questions. Where are we at? Do we have any questions then?
Well, you already answered about batteries. A lot of people. Somebody was asking about. Are we going to be able to landscape the new property with all that chert?
Yes. Yeah. Well, there is topsoil up on the top. We're not sure what we're going to do about the hill that's been kind of excavated out of there, other than it's going to get regraded a little bit. We might throw some RV pads up on that area too or something. We'll figure.
I want a waterfall.
She wants a waterfall. We'll see. Yeah, the charge controller is definitely screwed. There is no doubt in my mind, because when I switched it to my house bank, it did the same thing. It was 22 volts on the house batteries too. So the charge controller is no good. So I have that disconnected right now. That is definitely bad. But I was getting that 2-volt reading on my battery banks after that charge controller failed. I never got it on the start batteries, but I would get the high voltage when I switched it over, because I have an AB switch that can switch them over.
Someone wants to know why use 6-volt batteries instead of 12.
Well, they are hooked up as 12 volts. It's no different than the cells in your battery. I mean, it's got more capacity, and those are true deep cycles. They're 230 amp hours each battery. They're better. If you're going to do a big house bank, the 6-volt golf cart style batteries are better than just using like regular 12-volt batteries.
And did we get good news on running electric to the property?
No, I'm waiting to talk to the guy face to face. So it's not going to make it or break it if we buy the property. That has nothing to do with if we're going to.
Well, it is good news as long as the neighbor lets us do it.
Oh, that'll be great news if he does. But yeah, I don't want to just call him on the phone and say, hey, I need to get an easement through your property. That's not me. So I want to meet with him, talk to him face to face, explain what's going to happen, and then what we'd like for him to agree to or not. But I just don't feel like that's a appropriate. That's not an appropriate thing to ask somebody just through an email or over the phone or something. Not in my book, it's not. So I think we'll get further with the face to face on that one.
Do you prefer the 671 or 8V71?
I definitely prefer the 671. I think it's a more robust engine, and I like them better. But I mean, if you want more horsepower, the 8V is better. But my very favorite engine, obviously, is a 671.
How much more solar are you thinking of putting on top of Lenny?
How
much can we fit?
Yeah, we're probably another 1,000 watts up there. Is my plan, and that'll also help us a little bit with the cooling too, because it'll give us an extra almost insulated roof up there, and it's just blank space for us. But I don't want it to be too visible from the ground. Like you hardly notice the panels that are up there now, so we're gonna probably stick the same general kind of design with it. So we'll see.
About automatic transmissions, why don't they use ATF-Y aviation oil?
Well, that wasn't, you said automatic transmissions?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a manual transmission. So that's just what they require. I don't know. That's what the book says to use. That's what we've always used. Luke at US Coach says to use that too. It is not supposed to be gear oil though. In that, I don't know if it's because it's a V drive. If there's something, the pressures on the V part of it might be different for the oils or something. I have no idea, which wouldn't be really any different than opinion, I think. But who knows? But that's what the book says to use, so that's what we use.
How are things going with your generator?
It's been absolutely perfect. Although I didn't actually try it today. It rained like crazy last night. I should have tried it. Yeah, it's. I think it's fine. And I think the water is going to stay out of the way that we got that extra stuff on there now. So I doubt that we'll have another issue with it. But in the future, I would love to have a diesel powered generator in there. Something 7 to 10 kilowatts. I just don't have the funds for it right now, or I got that one for free and it does work, so there's no reason to, diesel generators. It's gonna, even if I get a good deal, I'm probably looking at like $5,000, but $5,000 to $10,000 for a generator when I've got one that works perfectly fine most of the time. That was the first issue we've had with it, so I hate to throw it out after the first issue. So,
Would you rather have a 2-stroke diesel than a 4-stroke diesel?
yeah, definitely.
I just lost my place.
Have you guys noticed anything new on the channel today? Did you see Kelly did a new page header for the channel on there? So if you click to our page, you'll see the new banner thing that she did. I thought it was really cool.
Okay. Stupid thing.
Unless that 4-stroke, 2-stroke question was about a generator, the generator that's going to go on the bus would be a 4-stroke. I'm not putting a Detroit diesel like a 271 generator on my bus. That would be awesome, but I don't have the room for it.
What happened to those red batteries on the last job?
Those are my batteries that for my bus. Those are the ones that we're trying to figure out what happened because my solar charger freaked out and overcharged them, and then the bank went to crap, and then I couldn't use any power. So they're disconnected now because I didn't trust them. I didn't want to start a fire or anything because they were giving me really weird voltage. You have to watch videos from the last couple days or when we were up in, I forgot where we were at. What state were we just in? Arkansas. That's where it happened at, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it happened in leaving Tennessee, heading to Arkansas, so we started having problems with the batteries.
Where do you get the parts for the buses that you repair that are out of service?
Well, all the Detroit diesel engine parts are readily available from multiple manufacturers. There's aftermarket or genuine Detroit diesel parts for the engine. So pretty much everything for the engine is available. A few of the accessory things are harder to find. Like if you want to convert from a sock oil filter to a spin-on oil filter on a 671, that's a little bit harder to do, but not impossible. If you want to change your alternator from a gear-driven to a belt-driven, not impossible, but harder to do. So a lot of the bus stuff, Luke at US Coach in New Jersey, we order a lot of things from. And then also there's a place called Mohawk. You can get a lot of stuff. If it's an Eagle bus, there's a place where we can get a lot of Eagle parts, but that Eagle place is usually, their prices aren't so good. They're pretty high, but at least they're available. So, and there's lots of people that I know that are parting buses. Silversides, Gene Russell's the guy to go to for that. And there's just a whole bunch of them. So, and I know people that are parting out like 4106s or 4104s, etc. So if I need parts for that, I can contact those guys individually that have 1 or 2 buses and get parts. I've never not been able to locate a part. I'm done.
That's all you have to say about that?
That's all I got to say about that.
How about a recycled Tesla battery?
That would be awesome. That's going to take a lot of work, and I'm not an electrician. I watched people on YouTube, tear apart those batteries and make them. I know you can save a lot of money. My brother-in-law might be able to help me do stuff like that, or Tyler too. But I'd really love to just get some plug-and-play lithium batteries that are, like Group 31 based that you can just throw in there. They have their own BMS and everything, and that would kind of be my. That's what I'm going to shoot for, at least. This is making me sit up too tall. Sorry. It's still too tall. All right, go ahead.
Someone's saying their question got deleted. I haven't deleted anything, so I don't know why it didn't. So I only kicked the one person out.
Well, what the hell is this guy saying? The very last comment that just came
I
up.
haven't gotten that far.
Oh, I think I can take care of it.
I'll take care of it.
All right, let's go on.
So now I lost my place.
Sorry. I have a plate. So I just saw somebody. Have I ever worked on a 12V Detroit? Absolutely. I have a playlist with the 12V on there, which I updated some new playlists today. So if you ever want to know where like the Hey Lance came from, that whole Lance series is on there. Where we went there, they just do a couple minor little things on his bus that ended up, replacing his transmission, and a bunch of other stuff. And then I did the rescue of Mark's 4104 is on its own playlist. Sage's pre-war Silver Sides has its own playlist now, since we did some of it before and then we left and came back and finished it. Which that bus, if you're following that, if you follow Tyler at Indiana Diesel or Chris over at Carter's Garage, they're in the process of putting new leaf springs on that right now for Sage. So it's continuing to get work done on it, but I can't remember what other playlist I did, but I think I added like 6 playlists today. So with quite a few videos in them.
Tell us about the worst case you have seen while trying to fix a bus.
There's never any worst case. I mean, everything's been able to be fixed. And I don't think a customer's ever spent more than like 10 grand on my labor. So that would, that kind of gives you a ballpark figure, but nothing's ever been like totaled or unable to be fixed. A couple of them I've recommended not getting fixed. That one bus of Jeffrey's that had the blown up 8V92. I told him it wasn't worth doing the in-frame on it because he only had a few $1,000s invested in the bus and he was going to be way upside down. He didn't have any attachment to it, so that's when we pulled that transmission out of.
Time-wise, how long till a new place you're built and living in?
Oh, long time. Long time. A year, at least a year, probably. So we won't do anything until we sell our other home, which we're not selling until my daughter's wedding in the fall. So we probably wouldn't even break ground on time. We'll have an RV pad there, I think, to be able to go there and visit and work on stuff. But I don't think we'll have a pole barn for a while, unless...
We're going to start clearing out and getting ready, though.
Yeah, especially if I get a tractor to work on there.
How many days can y'all live in Lenny off-grid?
Like... off-grid, like not plugged in somewhere. It really depends on what the weather is like. But we go, we've been on them 3 weeks at a time or more. Hell, we did 6 weeks. But we would plug in every once in a while and then do a dump out kind of thing. And we have a macerator pump, so we can do a dump out at somebody's house easily. A couple 100 feet of garden hose that we carry with us. Yeah, I mean, but without being plugged in, it would be uncomfortable if it was really hot. Really cold, not so bad anymore, probably, because we could run the generator and that. I wouldn't want to go more than like a week, though, without being plugged in. That would probably be But we've done that, because we did more than a week out in Arizona when we did the rebuild, too. We were unplugged. So, it gives you an idea.
The home you're building, are you guys doing the design engineering work or hiring it out?
Sorry, my back is killing me. Probably gonna hire that out and work with them. I don't think there's gonna be any kind of a pre-done plan that we're gonna find for what we want. And then
I want to hire an architect for sure. I haven't found anything.
Yeah. So we have some images of things that we like and don't like about different things, and we'll sit down and figure out what we want to do.
On the last bus, what caused the oil to infiltrate the blower like that?
The seals on the blower are bad, so it's actually sucking the oil out of those seals on the end of those lobes. There's a lot of oil in there because of that.
What is a rough estimate of what you might spend in a year in maintenance?
That really varies. other than this year, because I did that engine rebuild, which we really just did for the heck of it, it didn't absolutely need it. I've been probably $5,000 a year maybe in maintenance on my bus. I think that's a good number if you drive it a lot. If you don't drive it a lot, it'll come and eventually catch up to you. So, yeah, I think if you're a bus owner though, you should probably try to budget about $5,000 a year in maintenance. And if you don't use all that money, save it for next year because you might need it then.
Have you ever visited Cheap RV Living Forum's website?
No, never even heard of it.
You might want to look through here because there's a lot of just
Sorry.
not a lot of questions, just a lot of comments.
I see somebody's asking what an in-frame rebuild costs for for a Detroit 671, probably about $6,000 to $7,000. Depending on, if it needs a head, then it goes up from there. But that I've done them for as low as like $3,000 in labor before, but it just depends on how much needs to be done and where the parts are coming from.
Have you ever worked on a V12?
Yeah, and I answered that. We have the playlist with that on our, if you click on our playlist, there's a whole V12 playlist on there.
What does Group 31 mean for batteries?
It's a size. It's like a semi-truck battery size, so it's about twice the size as a regular car battery that might be in most little cars, maybe. But yeah, I don't know what they are. Probably like 14 inches long, maybe something like that. 16 inches long, by 8 by 10 or something like that. I don't know.
Do you notice the older generation smiling when they hear Lenny coming?
No, but every once in a while I'll see somebody running towards a bus stop, especially in the old fishbowl. When we drove the fishbowl around, if we were in a city where there was a bus stop, you'd see people running.
Why is the bottom of the windshield tinted on some buses? I think it's road glare.
Yeah, I don't know. Could be.
Are you going to be back in North Carolina in February or March?
We will be back in North Carolina in March.
How'd you fare with the storms last night?
We were fine. I mean, it rained and stormed and woke us up, but we were fine. I was a little worried about where we're sitting in his front yard. The bus might sink down a little bit, but we didn't sink down.
I'm slowly coming around to the Silversides buses. By my favorites, I have always been the old Beavertail Flexibles. What is your opinion of one over the other?
The flexibles are really small, which would either have its advantages or disadvantages. So you're going to get better fuel economy with it. It's easier to park it. There's a lot of steel on them. That's a disadvantage. They're easy to repower with something modern if that's what you want to do. But you don't have a lot of storage space and you can't haul around as much stuff. So I think they're, it's kind of similar. Each of those models are kind of similar. Flexible is only moderately smaller than this. I don't know. It's just personal taste, I guess. But yeah, you got to watch out for rust on those. But they're beautiful buses. You can't deny that they're absolutely stunning to look at. It would not be hard for me to not own. It wouldn't be hard for me to not become a flexible owner because I think they're really cool.
Do you have any plans for coming back to Minneapolis?
Yep. I don't know when we're going to be there, though. Sometime early summer, I think. Late spring, early summer is what it looks like.
Which has been the hardest / nightmare job while fixing buses?
Nothing. Nothing's ever been a nightmare. Every once in a while, working with a client might be a nightmare for me.
Say 1 or 2 people.
1 or 2 people might be a nightmare for me internally, but I don't let it. Hopefully, I don't let it come off in the videos.
Are you interested in a 30 kilowatt 671?
That would be totally awesome. Who's asking that?
Fred Lash.
Oh, okay. I know somebody else that has one of those. I'll see if it was him. It was Dan. At our property, man, that would be an awesome backup generator to have on the property. And then if the neighbors said no to the easement, I'd run that thing 24/7. I'd put it right over on the corner of his property, straight piped. Sorry, I'm not an asshole. Like, just.
It depends on how mean they are.
Yeah, it depends on how bad their no would be. Sorry. No, but yeah, I would. No, that'd be awesome to have, but it's definitely not in my budget right now. So don't tempt me with it.
Are you going to NASA?
We drove by it several times today. Considered it. It's definitely up my alley. I mean, I've been in Florida and Huntsville. Never been to the one here before, but I don't think my schedule is gonna really allow me to take time to do that. I don't know if I'm really coming around to the idea of that. How long would it take somebody to change their mind on the easement if you had a Detroit diesel straight pipe generator screaming all day long on the property line? I think that might get approved.
I would not like that running all day long.
We're on the road most of the time.
Have you ever considered putting a menu of all your videos with brief descriptions so people could check them out without asking so many redundant questions?
Doing a what now? A menu?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to do that. I have no idea how to do that. That's a thing? I don't know.
I don't know. Do you miss or still dabble in photography?
No. Neither really. Yeah, I don't think so. Not really.
Have you seen the diesel heater with the water heater built into it?
I mean, I've seen it on Amazon. I haven't bought it. That'd be a nice engine preheater to have. I think it's like $350 or close to $400 or something. I have a block warmer right now. I just start the generator and run the block warmer for an hour, and 30 degrees or lower, it'll just fire right up. So it looks like a nice option though.
What is an in-frame cost?
I answered that one already.
Okay. If you see something, go ahead.
Yeah, somebody's saying romance question. How far is Dairy Queen from your new property? Well, we don't really eat Dairy Queen because we're vegan, so we don't eat dairy products. And I don't think Dairy Queen has any non-dairy ice cream, do they? I'm going to say no. Somebody's asked me if I ever saw the European double-decker bus build. No, I have not. Somebody just got a 453T in their Chevy. Awesome. You would need a table of contents page with links to each video. Okay, yeah, I can look into that. I haven't. Yeah, that was hard. A lot of people, if they just ask a question on a regular thing, you can just ask it under a video, and a lot of people will kind of chime in and answer it, which I've been trying really hard. I don't know if you paid attention or not to reply to questions this past week. Probably 95% of everything that was posted got a reply. So I've been trying. It's really hard work. There's a lot of questions.
Have you considered lead carbon batteries instead of lithium ion?
No, no. Don't know anything about them, but I mean everything. Lead sounds like it's heavy still, and I want to save weight. So if the lead carbon is as light as lithium and charges like lithiums, then maybe I would consider it. But for right now, I'm more interested in weight than anything else.
I'm not sure if this was ever asked, but where did you get or give your bus the name Lenny?
Been asked a bunch of times, just because we had another bus named Benny, and Lenny was a good name for his brother.
Have you talked to any old Greyhound bus drivers?
Oh yeah, lots of them. Mostly at rallies and stuff like that. But every once in a while, somebody will come up to me when I'm at a gas station or something and say they used to drive for Greyhound.
Does Lenny like low sulfur fuel?
He doesn't mind it, but it's always nice to add a little something to the tank.
Do you now have all your parts for the Jakes?
Has Bailey said if anything came?
She has not said that it's shown up.
Yeah, I haven't checked back at home since we've been on the road. The valve cover got shipped to the wrong zip code, so the right address but the wrong zip code. Not sure how the post office did that, but they did allegedly find it, and we're going to forward it to the correct address. So I didn't have a valve cover, and some of that other stuff still wasn't there when I left home, but I haven't checked in to find out what got delivered or not. Oh, somebody is getting kicked off the channel. Sorry about that.
We need Tyler on here to help moderate.
Yeah, that was a ridiculous. That had nothing to do with anything. What a son of a...
Okay. Have you been to Canada or too far?
I haven't taken Lenny to Canada before. We've had him very close. Thank you, Tyler. Yeah, I deleted him too, but
Nope, Tyler's on there.
yeah, I just saw him.
Do you play guitar?
I do not, no.
Can an 800-pound motorcycle be attached to the front of a Silverside's bus?
Yeah, you probably could. What kind of bike does it say? Just a motorcycle?
Yep.
Real careful about what the weight. If it's more than 500 pounds, I would be. That's a lot of weight. You could make something up there where it could handle it, but it's bouncing around. And I mean, we had bicycles up on the front, and they did just fine. So
I don't like watching them bounce around though. That freaks me out a little.
yeah,
Is Frank still with us? He loved being on camera.
yeah. I haven't heard from Frank lately. I need to reach out to him. I know he had a couple of health issues earlier in the year, so I should check in on him, see how he's doing.
How do your volunteers find out where you're working?
Just by watching videos, because I usually post a video of that day, so you know where I'm at or where I'm going to be. So if you actually watch my videos, then you know where I am and where I'm going to be. And then they just reach out to me.
Do you think Lenny could make it over the Colorado mountain passes on I-70?
He's done it several times, so yes. He don't like it, but he does it just fine.
Any idea on ETA for Lenny's power steering? We have time.
Yeah, when I have time. So hopefully in March when I go back to North Carolina, because we're going to do it out at Gene's place in North Carolina. So it'll be good if we pick up, finish Mark's bus. Was there anything else we had to do in North Carolina? Then get Tyler's bus, and then take Tyler's bus down to Gene's with me. Tyler could work on his bus for a few days, getting it more ready for the highway or for the trip home while I add power steering to my bus, and then come back. Which I think Tyler started a GoFundMe thing for his bus, for the conversion and stuff he's going to do on the bus. If anybody wants to help him out with that, help him get some money to do some improvements on it, that'll be fun for him.
Are all Silverside's buses batteries wired in parallel?
None of them are. The Silverside's is 12 volt.
If you see something, it just threw me way far ahead again.
Somebody saying they've watched me change bearings. Have I ever seen bad cranks? Absolutely. I've even replaced a crankshaft in one of the videos last year, in a 671 because the crank was bad on it. And then we went to, actually we were going to use a different one. We decided at that point we're going to use a different engine. We tore down the other engine. It had 5 out of the 7 main bearings had spun on that particular engine. So then the block was no good at that point for us either. So we went back to the first one and just changed the crank in it. Taylor Burr's asking if he should get his blower rebuilt like the one we just worked on. Taylor, did we pull your, I don't remember if we pulled it off. Did we actually inspect your blower and look at it and see how much oil was on it? But yeah, if it has oil, just pull it off and send it in, because for $630 or whatever they said they were charging to rebuild it, that's super cheap.
Jason E is saying that they could make an index for you on Bus Grease Monkey of all the tech videos.
Oh yeah, we could do that. That would be a really neat thing to do, Jason. We can talk about that in the future. Just have another way to take advantage of things over there on the forum. If you didn't know that we have an online forum, we do. If you go there, it looks like nothing really happens on there. That's because you can't see it. It's all hidden from you. There's a thing on the top that says, how do I join? It's completely free to join. There's all kinds of manuals and documents and photos, and there's many members that are on there. They're all active every single day, sharing information. 90% of them, 95% of them are bus owners, and I would say most of them have owned their buses for probably more than 10 years. At least I would say that's an average. Tons of knowledge. Everybody there has pretty much seen it, done it, heard it, that kind of thing. So the Bus Grease Monkey forum is very active. It just happens to be hidden from the public. Mostly it keeps spam bots out and spammers and junk like that, and a-hole people and stuff like that. So yeah, so Taylor, if you pull that off the intake cover off of there, and just look and see how it looks inside there.
Have you ever seen the YouTube European double-decker bus build?
Yeah, I answered that one. Sorry.
I'm sorry. When did they quit making low block Detroits?
Oh, I don't know. Well, maybe they still make them. I don't know, but I haven't seen them in anything. Only the really early, the buses from the late 40s, early 50s. I've never seen it in anything after that. And most people, if they had them, they've even changed them out to something that's not a low block. But for the most part, I would assume by what I see that they were probably gone by like 52 would be my guess, but that's just 100% guess. Somebody's asking, we're going to be to East Texas. Aren't we in East Texas?
Yeah.
I don't know. We just drove down through East Texas, Texarkana, all the way down here. Oh, more people being bad, huh?
Is the injector for bus the same as they use on heavy machinery as loaders and bulldozers?
It depends on what horsepower it's set up for, but it's the same. Any 71 series injector, I mean, you can have anything, any number of, they're all the same profile. That some of them just, it's how much more fuel that they have. Like those marine ones that we worked on, I think these were 115s that we put in that one. Mine's 70s, so they all, you have options. Why is everybody misbehaving? What is going on down there?
People with nothing better to do with their lives.
Oh my gosh. Do you have another question? Or are you still looking?
I'm going through looking.
Sorry, I just keep seeing deleted.
When are you coming through Georgia?
On our way to Florida. Well, yeah, maybe. Because actually we're going through Alabama. And if we go the Alabama way, we might not go through Georgia.
Alabama?
Yeah. Before we go to Florida, there's that one in northern Alabama that we have, a client. Not very far from where our new property is.
Arkansas?
No, not him. There's one in Alabama on our way to Florida. We said we'd get to them.
Okay.
Came up like 2 weeks ago. I don't think I have any clients that are in Georgia for the next trip when we go down to Florida.
What are your time off hobbies?
Sleep, naps. Those are two separate things. Rest.
Your one wheel?
Riding my one wheel. I got to ride my one wheel today. I can't think of anything else. Spending time with Kelly. Somebody's asking what is running the rack. Is that running the injectors? Well, it's all part of a tune-up. The rack is the fuel control for all the injectors, so that all the injectors are giving the same amount of input from the rack for their fuel position. So setting the injector heights would be something different. That was all still part of the tune-up, though. A lot of people call running the rack just doing everything on the top end, the rack included.
Why are new diesels not two-stroke? Is it emissions or something?
It's usually emissions. Yeah, they're just, although they've made some progress on them. Don Fairchild has some pretty good stuff going on that he was doing with the two-stroke stuff, but government and bureaucracy, and yeah, you're never going to get it as clean. Although, yeah, it has to do with pollution. Diesels are, well, I don't know, they're diesels. Thank you, William Beck. I appreciate that.
What type of MCIs do you work on?
Anything that's got a two-stroke manual or mechanical two-stroke in it. So all the old stuff, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, 1023C, all of those I've worked on. So I don't know, is there something in between there that I skipped? I don't know.
Do you tow anything?
Sometimes I tow my Volkswagen thing. Excuse me. Oh. See, I need that hobby of mine, that nap.
My emergency flap doesn't kill the engine on a 6V53. What could be the issue? It doesn't smoke.
The emergency flapper should kill it or mostly kill it, as it is running really, really horribly when you have it deployed. Otherwise, it's leaking air from somewhere else. If it can get air from somewhere else, or your flapper's not sealing right or something, but that should definitely stop it or mostly stop it. I've had them deployed where it'll idle horribly. It won't run any faster than an idle, and it's a terrible idle. That's just because there's still a little bit of air getting through there. What was the second part of that question?
I don't know, sorry.
You're on to something
I'm
else.
trying to read to the next one.
Sorry, yeah. I don't remember what the question was. Sorry.
I've already read 30 comments.
That's okay.
When you refer to running the rack, is that the injectors?
I answered that already.
Okay,
yeah.
Is it safe to tow a vehicle behind an MCI 5?
Is it safe to tow a what?
A vehicle.
Yeah. You can tow behind an MCI bus for sure. It's the GMs are the ones you got to watch out for, because, yeah.
Have you ever considered running biodiesel?
Yes, I've used veggie oil before, and I've used biodiesel, and we used to get. I have several videos talking about the veggie oil that we used to run and how we would get it and what we would do to it, and my bus actually loved it. It cleaned my tanks out. It was great.
Do you play any games, online games?
Old school zombies on Call of Duty. That's my very favorite video game. But other than that, I don't play online video games. I just recently took my Xbox off of the bus. Kelly and I play some card games and stuff on the bus, though, and board games and things like that. We like the Monopoly Deal. If you've never tried that, it's a super fun and addicting game.
Does your part supplier ship overseas?
I've never asked them to. I would assume that nowadays everybody does.
We just got a super chat.
Terry, hi Scott. Please text me if you can use my help on Monday with the Houston bus. Okay, Terry. Yeah. Excuse me. I probably will need some help. I think we're probably going to be pulling a fuel pump on the Eagle, which is never a super fun job to do. We don't start till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so maybe like 3:30 or so, and I can send you the address. It's on the east side, west side of town. I can't think of what it was near, but it's about the center of the city, as far west as you can get before you get to the next town.
Are two-stroke diesels able to run on biodiesel fuel?
Yes. They don't know the difference. Biodiesel is diesel. I mean, it's as far as the engine goes. You might want to watch some of your hoses and stuff like that. It might get eaten up a little bit, but nothing else really pays any attention to it.
Can variable valve timing be applied to Detroit's?
I don't do anything with the D-deck stuff. So everything I do is mechanical. So not with the mechanical engines. No, you're not doing that.
What MCI do you recommend as the best?
An MC6 would be my favorite for the best because I think it looks the best, and especially if it's got 12V71 in it.
Would 653 work as conversion to T-drive in Silversides?
Well, you'd be at a power loss for one, but would it fit if you went to a T-drive? Possibly. You would have to. I've never measured what it would be, but it would be close. I think you could. If somebody was really good at what they were doing, they could make that happen. I mean, anything's possible. There's Silversides out there with a Series 50 in it. I don't think it's Series 60. It's Series 50. A couple of them, I think, actually.
Is your add-on power steering air or hydraulic?
Oh, it'll be full-blown power steering. Yeah. Hydraulic.
What part of Florida are you coming to?
All over, but we'll definitely be down in the Fort Myers Beach area.
What year was the first automatic transmission first introduced into a bus?
Well, I've worked on some that are early 50s, so I don't think I had anything that was in the, but who knows, yeah. I would assume either late 40s or very early 50s for sure. I think I worked on some that were 52s that had them for sure.
Ever play Fallout?
Tyler plays that game. I mean, I played it a couple times with him, but no, that's been a long time, and I'm not into that. It's really boring to watch somebody else play Fallout too.
Would you work on the brakes on a 98 102 D3 if they have problems?
I mean, I probably could. Assuming that they're still drum brakes. I've never worked on any buses with disc brakes. All the old stuff that I have drums. So if it has disc brakes, I've never done it, so I wouldn't want to even mess with it.
On my MCI 89 and 91, is the 671 on a slide to work on it easier or leave it in place to in-frame?
In what bus?
MCI 89 and 91.
Well, an MCI, it's pretty easy to pull that cradle out, and you got access to everything at that point. It's probably quicker and easier to do that.
Do you charge hourly or by the job?
I charge hourly. So if a bolt breaks and we spend 4 hours trying to get a bolt out, or as Tyler and Chris are doing right now, spending an entire day getting one pin out of a leaf spring, I can't afford to eat that. And when you work on old vehicles, you never know what's going to happen. I try my best to not break something, and but yeah, I've spent an entire day on one bolt many times, and that's no fault of mine. Something that should come out in 30 seconds. That's why I love working with the client though too, because they see exactly what's going on when they're the ones trying to fight with something too, and how difficult something is that shouldn't be difficult, and it does turn into an all day or multi-day thing. It sucks sometimes, but I need to get paid for that.
Do you do pre-purchase inspections?
I only do a pre-purchase inspection if I happen to be in the area already, because it's not, you're going to pay me a lot of money to travel somewhere to do that, and I'm not going to drive for 3 days to get somewhere to do a 1 day inspection for you. Most buses are usually appropriately priced, or pretty close to it, and you know what you're getting into, kind of thing. Nothing is, if you're buying a $2,500 or $5,000 bus and you're going to pay me $5,000 to come out and do a pre-purchase inspection on it, that would be dumb. So same thing though with Tyler. He's saying he would do it, but how far are you going to drive to do that, Tyler? And it's not worth it. If it's in the area where you're at, or somebody brings it to you, then that's fine. If I'm already there, I can do it for probably $500 to $1,000, depending on how in depth you want it to be. But yeah, it's very rarely do I do that. But if you're looking at buying something, if you're going to spend 50 grand on a bus, it would be worth it for you to have it checked out, because most of them kind of get what you pay for.
Do you edit out road rage you might catch on your driving videos?
No. Trying to think the last time I was mad at somebody, that guy going up the hill kept riding his brakes the whole way up the mountain, wherever that we were at with that. That one drove me nuts. I think that was on a live video.
Will the last bus be able to find that park brake rotor new, or is that a salvage only item?
Salvage only. I've never seen a new one of those. I have a spare one at my place, but that's a 4104. So that's like a 1 day job to convert that whole bus over to spring brakes. That's kind of a no-brainer. Get rid of that thing and just have modern day spring brakes on the drive axle, and you've got all the safety and reliability of a modern maxi on there. So that's what he's going to do.
Would an intercooler give an advantage to a turbocharged Detroit diesel like your 671?
Yeah. Cooler air is more dense. There's a lot of them. I've worked on several intercooled, well, they call them an aftercool, but anything that you can do to cool it will work.
Are you going back to Burning Man?
Not this year. I can't rule it out that I'll never be back there, because it was kind of fun.
Just threw me to the end again.
Somebody just said, give it a thumbs up. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind giving it a thumbs up and taking a minute to do that, I appreciate it. I also appreciate it if you have a minute to share some of our video links to your friends. YouTube really likes that when people share it out there, and that'll kind of help us grow. Plus, maybe you can introduce us to some new people. So yeah, we got 690 people watching and only 214 thumbs up. So we definitely appreciate a few thumbs up. Just takes a second. Click the button. If somebody's asking about how much I charge and all that, I have a video about how to book me, and it's only a couple weeks old, so you should be able to find it really easy. It has all of our hourly rates and everything listed right on there. Give you a ballpark figure, it's like $90, 90-ish.
What is your dream bus? Would you go nuts on Lenny or go new?
Oh no, I would never do new. Lenny is, I love the Silver Sides, so he's just cool.
I think I've read all the questions.
If we skipped your question, we didn't do it on purpose, so you can ask it again so we don't have to scroll backwards.
Make sure it's all caps.
Yeah, put it in all capitals, because that's what she's looking for when she's scrolling through there. So yeah, we go from here to work on that Eagle bus. She's having fuel problems with it. She thinks somebody's told her it's got a bad fuel pump on it. So they hooked in an auxiliary little electric fuel pump, and apparently it runs with that, which makes me a little bit suspicious if that's really what the problem is. It could just be the fact that it's losing prime. I asked her if it's losing prime. She didn't know what that meant. I asked her if the fuel filters were empty. She didn't know what that meant. So I'm not really sure with the mechanic that she's been working with or who's been looking at it, what they've seen and saw or whatever. So I would probably be more likely to think that there's a issue with a fuel line or something where it's maybe sucking some air or something like that. So I appreciate the thumbs up, guys. Everybody who gave me a thumbs up, thank you. Appreciate it.
Someone's asking, how is Lenny doing?
Lenny is doing great. He's running real strong, not leaking oil. I mean, I need to do some maintenance on him at some point, and stuff that I've kind of been putting off, but nothing major. That rear end seal's got a leak on it again, so I'm probably gonna have to tear into that again a little bit. But everything feels tight down there. It sounds good. I'm not super worried about it. It's not losing enough oil to make a difference in the level. It's just making a little bit of a mess back there. I got to work on that transfer pump. That is still not working. I'm not sure if it's the pump or it's the fuel line, because I had that crap in there in that little filter. There might be crap in the fuel line. I just haven't had time to tear it apart.
Would or could you travel full time in Lenny?
We basically do already, but we're gonna try to travel about half the amount of time next year, probably once we have the property, so we can have more people come to us. But I still have a lot of clients whose buses aren't mobile, so, and I don't want to cut them out of it, and I still want to do the bus rescues and other vehicle rescues, and hopefully we'll be able to buy like a tractor and backhoe and that kind of stuff that's kind of vintage Detroit powered heavy equipment like that, to have at the property, and that'll be something fun that we can work on, and then either end up using and selling, or just having the video content from it too.
I see you got the tint off the windshield. Did you have to replace it?
No, I peeled that off. One of the vintage stickers that came with the bus from where the town that it was in was on that stuff, so I didn't want to remove it, but it's gone now. I needed to mount that other stuff to it. So yeah, and if you notice a different tint in the windows, it's because the one windshield is the original and the right one has been replaced. I do have a new one to put in the left side, but I'm going to wait until this one cracks or something, because it's perfectly fine right now. There's no reason for me to tear it out when it's not broken. Or the other one, the day that we put it in, it got a rock chip in it, which sucked too. So
Have you ever worked on a double-decker bus?
Not necessarily. I mean, I worked on scenic cruisers, which people call double deckers, which they're really not. They do have kind of two levels, but they're not on top of each other. So it's like I don't know why they call them that, honestly.
Will you be passing through West Texas anytime soon?
McFadden is the farthest west that we're going to get to. And then Austin, that's really central Texas, I believe. I don't know my Texas geography very well.
Yeah, we're more central. I'm buying an 89 MCI 9. What should I look for under bus?
Rust. The airbags, how long is it holding air for? Oil leaks, power steering leaks. Really look at the rust on the beams, the air beams, all that stuff. There's a spot where the jack goes on in the front where you can lift it up, make sure that that's completely solid there. I've seen those rust out really bad in the wheel wells. Radius rods, everything's attached real good.
Would you buy yourself a second bus?
Yes, I would.
What would it be?
I mean, an MC6 I think would be a fun one to have, just so I could have a hot rod too. But I don't have any plans to do that. That's just, if I win the lottery, I would have a few second buses.
How many bays will be in your new garage?
We're talking about 3, with extra room in between. Nothing real tight. So yeah, a lot of space in between.
And it just threw me to the end again. How much for a 453T Detroit bell housing repair?
Couldn't tell you. It'd be a lot, because whatever that is, it's got to come out. The engine's got to come out of whatever it's in, and that's a lot of work.
What is the overhaul cost on an 8V71 that's already pulled out?
I mean, I can't give you an exact number, but I think a ballpark number would probably be, labor-wise, $4,000 to $5,000, depending on what was wrong with it, and then your parts are probably looking $2,500 minimum. But if you needed, to get your heads done, that's going to be another, $1,000 on top of that, and that's just getting them resurfaced. If there's something wrong with them, it just goes up. Everything can go up from there. You could expect to spend $20,000 maybe, worst case scenario.
How come the rear bumper would not open?
Because the pin that goes down through the hinge is completely seized in there. That's actually steel in steel, and it's rusted tight. We banged it with a sledgehammer, and it was not moving at all. And that we didn't want to break anything in there, so we stopped banging.
How do you like MC9SS and MC12?
I mean, there's no buses that I don't like, so I don't have a problem with anything. I don't even know if I know what an MC12 is.
Where is your home base?
Well, right now we're in Avon, Indiana, and then we'll be in outside of the Nashville area.
Are you going to be putting a new set of batteries for your house bank using 12 volt instead of 2 times the 6 volts?
What now? Am I putting the batteries are going to be what? What was the first part?
Are you going to be using 12 volts instead of...
Well, if I go to lithium, yeah, they're going to be 12 volt.
Looks like you just got a super chat.
Is Lenny suffering from a dead zone in the steering wheel? If so, how are you going to fix it? My steering is tight on Lenny. You guys just aren't used to driving buses. That's a giant steering wheel on that bus. That thing's, I don't know how big it is. It feels like it's 2 foot across. So there's a little bit of play in it, but not a lot. But the other day I was driving, it was really, really bad crosswinds. A vehicle would pass you and you have to kind of correct one way, and then the wind would catch you the other way, going the other way. His steering is tight. I don't know why people think his steering's not tight. You're not going to find a bus that's got tighter steering than this thing.
Are electric turbos a viable option?
No. I've never seen one that's I think you do better off with a leaf blower, probably. I don't know anything about them, but I'm going to say no. Your exhaust can power your turbo just fine. I don't follow anybody about solar or batteries or anything like that. Somebody's asking.
Why don't you put those pans on the belly under the engine? Wouldn't they draw hot air out of the back of the bus?
Yeah, they're part of the cooling system. So, I mean, they were designed to be there. I've never seen them on a silver size either. That 4104 was the first one I've seen them, but all the GM buses used to have them.
What parts of Lenny are still original? Block, gearbox, leaf springs?
Pretty sure his leaf springs are all original. The block is a 1952, I think, when we looked up the serial number on it. So it's a few years newer, which is not abnormal, because they would have a rebuilt power plant ready to swing in when it was time for rebuild. You're never going to find very rarely would you find a matching numbers block and bus. at least one that worked with Greyhound. Transmission actually says yellow coach on it, so it's an early one. I don't know if it's original or not. But I would say 95% of the bus, no, probably more than that. 97% of the bus is probably original, with the engine and transmission being questionable. They're out of another, well, the engine's not out of a Silversides, but the transmission definitely is, because it's the only one that particular transmission comes from.
Have a 4107 with an 8V71 missing the original generator. Should I locate and replace, or just use the existing auto style generator?
Okay, I'm assuming you're meaning alternator that's on there, which your book might refer to it as a generator, but it is an alternator, 50DN. If you don't need the electric power on it, then there's no reason to mess with it, but the original one's like 230 amps. So if you're running the original heating blowers and stuff like that, then it's worth it to find it. But the gear-driven ones are problematic, so sometimes you got to watch out. You know, you can take out an engine with the gear drive on it. So if you already got something converted to a belt drive, they make belt drive 50DNs as well. So that's totally up to you.
Just threw me to the end again, so.
Lenny's running about 250 horsepower right now. 260 maybe with my propane on. So he's definitely got more than the 238. And when we go to a turbo, we'll have a little more.
I don't know if you answered this. When are you going to be in the Austin area? I'm ready for a day trip to get greasy. Probably about a week.
That would be a good guess, about a week, plus or minus 3 or 4 days. It just depends on how things go. It's impossible for me to keep an exact schedule. Yeah, that'll be the third stop.
Did you say you were going to McFadden next?
No, I'm going to Houston next, which I'm almost in Houston right now. We're in Seabrook on the east side of Houston, and then we'll be in Houston on the west side of Houston tomorrow.
What horsepower is Lenny's engine rated at? Is it underpowered?
I just answered that one.
I'm sorry. Have you ever seen a DT466 swapped into an MCI or GMC?
No, and I don't mess with any of those. I mean, I've seen them in school buses and stuff, but no, never.
Just threw me to the end again.
Somebody's asking me about my fuel mileage. He gets like 3 miles to the gallon in the city and 10 miles to the gallon on the highway.
Have you ever tried electric conversions for the air-powered wipers?
I did them. I converted my other bus to electric, and it was a pain in the butt, and it was not cheap. And I got a good deal on them when I got them. They're even more expensive now. An air wiper motor conversion to do this is probably about $400 per wiper. So I'm completely fine with my air wipers that do work, and using Rain-X to supplement.
How are you guys finding how good is the little diesel heater works in Lenny?
Works great. I love it. Got to have some electricity to power it though. So when we had no batteries the other night, we couldn't use it. Which we couldn't use the propane furnace either, because that has a blower motor that runs off of that. And I definitely, we were having issues with the generator, so I didn't want to risk using my start batteries and not having the bus start the next morning if the generator couldn't charge it back up. So I need to have a working house system you still have to have electricity behind it. So, but it works great.
I think we're caught up again.
Okay. Again, if you get a chance, if you could share some of our video links on some of your social media or with just some of your friends, I'd appreciate it. We're trying to grow the channel a little bit. I would definitely appreciate that if you had a chance to share some of our videos. If you get a chance to, leave a comment. I've been trying really hard to respond to most of the questions and comments lately, if you hadn't noticed that. And yeah, we appreciate the thumbs up too. If you get a chance, hit thumbs up before you head out of here tonight. I don't know when the next live is going to be, but we'll have a video, I'm sure, tomorrow night. And we should have a video pretty much so every night for the most part while we're here in Texas. So for the next few weeks, you should have a video to watch just about every night if we can. So again, I appreciate you subscribing, and if you could share a video link to some of your favorite videos. I just put up a whole bunch of playlists today, so if you missed some of the stuff with Lance's project is on there, Sage's project is on there, that pre-war Silver Sides of Sages, Mark's 4104 that we rescued, that's on there as a playlist. I can't remember. Oh, George's whole thing is on there as a playlist. So I got several of them that were up there. If you missed that stuff, there's some pretty good ones on there. George's was a fun one. So if you haven't been around all summer, you would have missed a couple of good ones that are on there. And if you don't know what Hey Lance means, watch that Lance one and you'll find that out too. I put a specific time and video to click to get the Hey Lance explanation. It's on the community tab. So if you ever wondered why we always say Hey Lance or why there's a Hey Lance t-shirt on our thing, that'll answer some questions for you. Because if you missed the video, you don't have to watch the whole thing if you don't. I want you to watch the whole thing, but you don't have to. Oh, I just had a super chat. Darn it. A big Texas welcome, needing a 4104 sliding windows. So you just need the glass for them or the actual frames, because both are available. But the glass you can get made anywhere. Any glass shop can make the glass for them if your frames are good. So, okay. All right. Well, we're going to finish up here.
Yeah, one more question. Someone is asking how many batteries you're using.
On the house bank right now, there was 9 that are on one side of the bank. And then I can join the other ones to that with some solenoids. I have 1,500 amp hours total of lead acid batteries on this bus, which is a lot of weight that I would be very happy to go to lithium. And I could have half of the amp hour time because I could drain the batteries all the way down. Do you not shut up? Funny. I don't, but yeah, people ask me questions. Yeah, we're done. I can't take any more questions. I think there's a football game that's going to come on. Maybe it's already on. I don't know. So, hey, thank you, though. I appreciate it. Again, share some of our links to our videos. Hit the like button and check out some of those playlists. Thank you so much. Everybody have a good night, okay?